Hi, I'm Scott Hahn, and I'm here in the St. Paul Center studio. And I'm really excited because, well, for one thing, the Feast of Corpus Christi is coming up in just 2 days. And even though still people are locked in or locked down, we can celebrate the gift of the Holy Eucharist and profess our faith in the real presence together, even if it's only virtually. There might not be that many processions, but we're going to have something very special tomorrow morning. That is Saturday, June 13th. We're going to have a Corpus Christi Eve event that is broadcast live here where I'm sitting. And I am so excited because we're going to be focusing on the Holy Eucharist in Scripture and the early church. And I'm going to be joined by two of my closest friends and my favorite teachers. Dr. John Bergsma is this amazing Old Testament scholar, world class, and yet someone who is adept at bringing it down so that anybody can really understand. And so how is it that the Eucharist was prefigured in the manna, in the Passover, and many other things? And so he's going to be making those truths come alive for us as we prepare to enter into the mystery of the Holy Eucharist and the celebration of Corpus Christi. But then after he's done, we're going to have Mike Aquilina, really a co-founder and our vice president here at the St. Paul Center, and an amazing patrologist, an expert on the early church fathers. And he is going to show how the early church fathers picked up from sacred scripture all of the ways in which the Eucharist was foreshadowed in the Old and fulfilled in the New, especially in this one passage of Malachi, perhaps the most frequently quoted passage in the Old Testament by the early church fathers to show how a clean oblation would be offered basically 24/7 throughout the world and no longer only in Jerusalem, in the temple that was made back in Solomon's day. How is that even possible to happen or fulfill without breaking the law of Moses? Well, the early church fathers basically saw how the new wine of Christ in the Eucharist burst the old skins of the Old Testament. And I tell you, his new book, The Eucharist Foretold, in Malachi, he'll be drawing from that, and you're going to want to get hold of it. And then I'm going to be closing it out. I'm going to be focusing on the Eucharist and the resurrection, drawing obviously from the New Testament passages, but also from my new book, Hope to Die, The Christian Meaning of Death and the Resurrection of the Body. Because the Eucharist is not only the source and summit of our Christian lives, but it's also the source and summit of the new evangelization. But the resurrection is what makes the Eucharist possible, and the Eucharist is what makes the resurrection actualized for us. Christ said, "He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood, I will raise him up on the last day." So what is the connection between the Holy Eucharist and the resurrection of our bodies in the likeness of Christ? I want you to not only tune in and register, but please think about sharing this with family members and friends, because by the time we're done, you're going to sit back and say, wow, I didn't know I could learn so much and have so much fun in the span of 3 hours on a Saturday morning or whatever time zone you happen to be in. So please consider looking on that link, clicking it on, and registering, and then sharing that with friends and family members. Until tomorrow, when we get together again, may God richly bless you and your loved ones.